All right, here goes my first YouTube video. Do you have a Lazy Boy sectional or recliner that has this particular pull strap? I have 3 of them. 2 are broke. This one's about to break. They're pretty easy to take off. 2 Phillips screws. Pull those 2 screws out. Use a pair of pliers to disconnect this piece, and then rotate this piece around and it comes right out of the recliner. Easy peasy. Now Lazy Boy will warranty that and send you a new part. The problem is that your new part looks like this, and it has no resemblance whatsoever. On top of that, your new part has a couple of these little plates, right here, and it comes with these 3 screws, which are self-tapping. Not the most ideal or the easiest way to put it on. So what I'm going to show you is exactly how I repaired mine using some bolts and nuts and a drill bit. So hang tight. Okay, I took that off. You're going to see these 2 plates. What I would recommend is some 1/4-inch bolts with a hex head, just like these. I bought some 1/4-inch and 1-inch and some washers because I just wasn't sure, but use 1/4-inch, 3/4 long bolts with locking nuts. You can get washers. Now, this piece comes, these are a little bit too small. They're made for these self-tapping screws that come with it, but aren't that great or easy to put in. So what I did is bought a 1/4-inch drill bit, like so, and just drill them out just a little bit so the bolt will go through. Now, the confusing part about this is you'll see these 2 plates, right? This plate ends up going up against a piece. This plate here goes up against a piece. It's got a little corner edge. This place locks in. These 2 spacers make it fit so that it holds it in place. It actually isn't a bad economical design. Your new pole is going to be all plastic, something not to break. It's actually pretty thick. I do like this better than the complicated scenario of this piece that doesn't seem to last. So with that, what you want to do is you want to take these and run the bolts through here like so, and then you're going to want to take it and basically put it in here. Just like so. And you're going to see where the curved edge goes right there. Now, once you put the screws on and the lock on, you're going to want to leave it a little bit loose because it is tricky to actually put it on and get it into place. And I'll show you. So, right over here, you see this piece. Right here where your other piece was wrapped around. That's what that notch is for in that plate. It locks into here, and then the other plate comes in and secures right up against that. So let me show you exactly how to do that, which is just a little bit tricky. So you get it in here, kind of, these plates are kind of loose. Then you get it in here where it wobbles in. There you go. Got it wobbled down. Now you'll see how loose it is, but you can see right here how loose the plates are. But this one plate is going to lock up against that, and when you cinch this up tight right here with the screws, it's actually going to hold that in place. It's actually a pretty economical, quick solution with this new handle. And what I like about the new handle is that it actually works way easier and better than the old handle. So I'm going to tighten these up and then I'll show you again. Okay, now you'll see I have tightened these up and cinched them up. Those plates kind of form a union up against that piece. and holds this whole thing really good, right? You'll see that this lever works really well. Now, the other challenge is the last piece here to connect is this hole right here, except there's nothing in this piece. So what I would recommend is go get a bit, right? Don't just use any drill bit. I already broke a bit. So go get a masonry rebar bit from Lowe's or Home Depot. That's a 1/4 inch. And you'll have to use that bit to open up the holes where these 2 bolts are at, just to make it a little bit bigger because the holes are a little small for those self-tapping screws. And then you're going to use that to drill right through this hole, straight through the couch, and then put a bolt with a couple washers in there to hold that piece. And then after that, you're pretty much done, other than you'll notice the original hole is right here for the handle, but the new handle is right here. You're going to have to cut a slit in here. And I would recommend starting right here where this edge is and cut a little this way, because when you pull this lever up, it goes that way. That way it doesn't put the fabric in a bind. So the next thing we're going to do is drill right here, straight through. Okay, drilled the hole, vacuum up the metal shavings, and then I'll show you how I did it with a couple washers and a nut and bolt. Okay, now what I've done is use a 3/4 inch long, a 3/4 inch long, 1/4 inch zinc hex bolt from Lowe's. I put a washer between this piece of metal and this, and then I put a washer on the back side with the nut up on the bottom. And then tighten it up. So with those lock nuts, all that, it works pretty handily, very easily. And then if this breaks in the future, all you got to do is change this plastic piece. It actually works and pulls and releases much easier because of the angle is straight up from the lever action versus what was there before, which went all the way out here at an angle. All the way over here, you notice you had to pull those kind of hard. Now you don't have to. It actually opens much easier. And they're pretty easy to put on. So last thing I'm going to do is cut a little slit right here to here so that when it goes through and operates, it works fine. Don't cut one too big, just cut a small one, and then take this off and thread this through and then reattach this piece. It's pretty simple. All right, that's it. That's how you change out the old style to the new style that Lazy Boy will send you. And again, I actually like the new style better. You can buy replacement old style ones on Amazon and replace those like for like, but those cords and those metal wires will eventually break and you'll be messing with it again, where this seems to be a much easier fix in the event that this were to ever break in the future, which I highly doubt it will. And if it does, it's just a plastic piece. Pretty easy. Or you can put any kind of handle that you want to make and mold to this and hook to this lever right here. So my first how-to YouTube video out of my own frustration, not finding anybody else telling me how to do it and having to figure it out myself.